Right now at 6, the vice presidential candidates in Wisconsin. They're closing messages to voters in La Crosse.
And all you need to know before hitting the polls tomorrow.
You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 6.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us for News 8 Now at 6. I'm Ken Kozarowski.
And I'm Emily Brown. Well, this is it. Closing time. Candidates are making their final pitch to voters.
In Battleground, Wisconsin, both vice presidential hopefuls made stops in La Crosse.
Our coverage starts with News 8 Now's Grace Monk and JD Vance.
Ken and Emily, Vance had a full crowd this morning for his last stop in the Battleground state. He started off his speech this morning by encouraging supporters to go out and vote tomorrow.
Tomorrow and get 9 of your friends and family to come along with you. That's how you vote 10 times, and that's what we got to do.
Vance focused his speech on inflation and immigration. He accused Kamala Harris of opening the border and letting in thousands of illegal immigrants. He says Harris's border policies have hurt things like education and health care in Wisconsin.
What does that do to the quality of the education for Wisconsin children when you drop thousands upon thousands of people into our Wisconsin school districts who don't even speak the language of the guidance counselors, of the teachers, and of their fellow students?
Vance criticized the economy under the Biden-Harris administration.
Kamala Harris will admit that she is the candidate of higher grocery prices. Kamala Harris will admit that she's the candidate of 28,000 less private sector jobs in just a month.
He says Wisconsinites were better off when Trump was in office.
When Donald Trump was president, you could afford to pay your bills. What we know is that when Donald Trump was president, we had a president who fought for border security for American citizens.
Supporters outside of the rally said they believe Trump will unify Americans.
Donald Trump, he was in office before, and the 4 years that we had him in office, we didn't have wars, inflation was down, the country was getting along. And now things have gone bad. We have a bad inflation. We got people coming across the border.
He closed his speech by telling supporters Trump will protect them through strong leadership, something he says Harris lacks.
My friends, tomorrow we are going to give the American people better leadership. We're going to make Donald Trump the next president, and we're going to do it together. God bless you, Wisconsin. I'll be back soon. I love you.
Vance made stops in several other swing states today, including Michigan, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. Reporting in La Crosse, Grace Monk, News 8 Now.
Okay, thank you, Grace.
Also speaking in La Crosse today, the Democrat VP candidate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz.
News 8 Now's Allison Fergott was there for Walz's first stop in La Crosse since becoming the nominee. Allison.
Ken and Emily, Walz had a strong message for supporters today. Get out and vote. I had the opportunity to speak to Walz one-on-one after his appearance on stage. He said this election is an opportunity to turn the page on an era of political division and that Kamala Harris will be a president for all Americans. Walz says he's feeling good in the final hours of the campaign. He's hearing from voters that they are tired of chaos in politics. I spoke to Walz about what a Harris administration will do to help rural Wisconsinites, and he says good infrastructure policy is crucial.
Protecting rural hospital access. We're protecting the infrastructure bills that are helping rural communities, making sure that folks have the infrastructure, have the water treatment plants, have the hospitals.
He added that Democrats will work to fund rural public schools. Wisconsin allows voters to register on Election Day, and Walz wants those who are unregistered to take advantage of it, saying their votes matter. Governor Walz and I also talked about issues like reproductive rights and access to child care. My full interview with Governor Walz is available on our website, news8000.com. Ken and Emily.
Allison, thanks very much. So the stage is now set for tomorrow's Election Day. So are the polling places in our area ready to handle tomorrow's expected rush?
News 8 Now's Jeremy Wall has that answer.
The clock is ticking as Election Day is almost here. 36,000 absentee votes have been cast in La Crosse County, but they're still ready for high turnout. 6 months of preparation has all come down to this.
We've done training with all the poll workers, and as clerks are doing their final touches, getting the polling places set up, getting the poll books printed. It's just anxiety and anxious of just getting Election Day here and going and getting the voters through.
They're ready in case things get out of control.
Polling places have their own contingency plans and backups in place in case security is needed.
In La Crosse, Jeremy Wall, News 8 Now.
Okay, thank you, Jeremy. And Dankmeyer anticipates all votes in Wisconsin to be counted by Wednesday morning.
So a reminder, Tomorrow night, we will bring you election results, expert analysis, and a breakdown of the issues. We will have live updates right here on News 8 throughout the night.
Well, after we received quite a bit of rain here Saturday night through Sunday, it's been somewhat dry here, but still cloudy and still occasional showers, but very mild here even this evening. We're still well into the 50s. The dew points are up there, so a little bit humid out there. But the good news is it's probably going to remain mostly dry here for many hours overnight. Right now, just a few showers popping up on radar. Very hit and miss, some drizzle, some sprinkles, some areas, but all in all, most areas are just cloudy with temperatures remaining into the 50s. As we kind of, future track shows that over the next 3 to 4 hours, just some areas of light rain. Most of the area will remain dry, and if you do receive any rain, amounts would be very light, not expecting any heavy downpours with any of this activity. Associated with a boundary that's sitting right to our west, that is stalling out because we have another wave, that low in Kansas. That's our next weather maker. It's going to push to the northeast late tonight, and that's going to bring our next round of rainfall throughout the day, but not for this evening. Once again, temperatures just lowering it back into the 55 degree, a few sprinkles or showers potentially by La Crosse, but overall very mild and kind of somewhat muggy for early November. And same story for Eau Claire too, just cloud cover getting back down to only 50 degrees. And then overnight the temperatures really don't lower that much and maybe into the upper 40s. Rain chances do increase as we get past midnight, as we see activity begin to spread over the area. So later on we'll kind of break down eventually when this rainy pattern will end, if we got any dry breaks coming up that we kind of do need. We didn't need a rain, but now we've actually caught up not only for probably October. We're almost caught up all the way back to the first day of September too now. So
that was pretty quick, huh?
It only took a couple days.
Yeah. All right, Greg, thanks very much.
A suspected Venezuelan gang member arrested in Prairie du Chien was arraigned today. Not guilty pleas were entered on Alejandro Zarate's behalf. He was arrested in September. Police say he physically and sexually attacked a woman. A young female was also hurt during the altercation. Zarate is facing 6 charges, including second-degree sexual assault and child abuse.
5 students of the Alma Center Lincoln boys basketball team face felony charges for alleged hazing incidents in January. The 5 upperclassmen allegedly assaulted 2 victims, holding them down, making sexual gestures, and attempting to remove clothing items on the bus after an away game. A victim told police the students planned to do the same thing to the other freshmen on the team. Each student was charged with false imprisonment, among other charges.
A politically charged climate that could stay charged.
A wellness specialist outlines a path to try and shake off that election fatigue. Next.
I'm Tara, a nurse here in Wisconsin, and my patients don't want politicians like Eric Hovde making their healthcare decisions. He means what he says about opposing reproductive rights.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
And there are forces in Washington who want to pass a nationwide ban on abortion. And if Hovde gets elected, I worry he'll support that ban that could turn nurses like me into criminals. We need to vote against Eric Hovde.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
I'm Steve from Clear Choice Window and Home Solutions. If you feel colder drafts here, you have gaps, worn seals, or even cracks here, you need a trusted window company to replace the window and help you save money on your energy bill. At Clear Choice, we know that your home is your biggest investment, and in a year like this, every dollar needs to be spent wisely. Our team will complete our Weather Guardian 15-step installation process on every job to ensure your home and family are safe before we leave. Call now to get up to 20% off or 60 months interest-free financing.
Think you know Steve Doyle? Think again. Doyle refused to protect our daughters, forcing them to share bathrooms and locker rooms with biological boys, and voted to force girls to compete against boys in sports. Doyle believes dangerous puberty-blocking drugs should be given to minors, and gender reassignment surgeries performed on children. Keep kids safe? Steve Doyle says no. Ryan Hipsch, focused on what matters, helping families with rising costs and protecting our children. It's just common sense. Ryan Hipsch for Assembly.
Kamala backed Biden on everything. She was the deciding vote for his disastrous economic agenda. They raised taxes on the middle class, and prices soared. Kamala was in charge of his open border policies, giving welfare to illegals while Americans struggle, and their weakness invited wars. Now Kamala wants to double down on failure. It's time to turn the page on Joe and Kamala's failed agenda. President Trump fights for you. His strength kept us safe. Trump cut taxes for families. Prices were lower and the border secure. Now, President Trump can do it again.
And we are going to launch a new golden age of American success for the citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed.
Remember, Kamala broke it. President Trump will fix it.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
I believe in bringing people together, like my family and neighbors did when I was growing up on the north side of La Crosse. And now that I'm in the state legislature, it's why I focus on bipartisanship, because my whole being is focused on bringing people together to find solutions to make everyone a winner. I've appreciated the opportunity to be your state representative, and if I'm reelected, that's what I'm going to continue to do. My entire focus will be on bringing people together to make Wisconsin a better state.
Election talk is everywhere, and 80% of Americans are concerned about the nation's future. That's according to the American Psychological Association. Health experts say if you don't deal with election stress now, your mind and body will feel the consequences.
This ad is a complete lie.
These types of lies.
Belittling public school teachers. Think you know Steve Doyle?
It can take over the mental health space.
A stressful time in a politically divided nation. The American Psychological Association survey finds that 7 in 10 adults are worried Tuesday's results could lead to violence.
The important thing to keep in mind is that that might be what we're thinking, but in all actuality, it's the extremist voices that tend to be heard the loudest.
Christy Harris knows these voices can get all over your phones and feeds. She says separating from the political atmosphere at times is a must.
It's important for us to be able to turn those things down and be able to allow our brain the opportunity to be able to process things. And if you are finding yourself getting emotionally charged by whatever is taking place, that's a good sign that you need to take a break.
A few moments throughout the day to create a quiet space, she says, will go a long way post-November 5th. And she says if it's hard to get yourself there, there is always a silver lining.
One of the things that you can do is try to make a difference for the next round. Whether you win or lose, in a few years, you get a chance to do it again. So it's not like this is going to be a permanent and everlasting result.
That study also compared results to previous presidential elections, and it found that election stress was almost the same as 2020, but 17% higher than back in 2016. We will have more news ahead, but first.
Dry and quiet. We do have some of that coming up for your week forecast. We'll kind of break down the rain for the election day, but also what it looks like there afterwards and when the next chance of rain also will be in the forecast. That all coming up on your First One Weather Update after the break.
I'm Rebecca Cook, and like most folks in Wisconsin, I'm somewhere in the middle.
Oh, please. Don't be fooled by Rebecca Cook. She made her living trying to elect Democrat extremists. Cook proudly supported radicals who want to defund police, end cash bail, and throw open the border. No wonder extremists like AOC are spending big bucks to elect liberals like Cook. Rebecca Cook, just another liberal trying to fool you. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Politics these days stinks. Too much hot air, and you know what else. But I'm no stranger to putting in a hard day's work and getting the job done. I have a history of bipartisan accomplishments. It's a hard job, but I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. I can reach across the aisle and pass good bills just as easily as I can walk across the barnyard with my shovel. So whether it's doing chores on the farm or passing bills in Madison, I'm Steve Doyle, and I'm ready to get back to work for you.
Are record high energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today.
You may remember me as a newscaster, but I'm not just a talker, I'm a doer. I'm Michelle Magadan Skinner. I've dedicated my life to sharing your stories and helping folks here in Eau Claire and Chippewa counties. We can't be sleeping on the job. I'm running for assembly because everyone needs a break from rising costs. We need bipartisan solutions for healthcare, education opportunities, and so much more. So join me. Let's get things done for Wisconsin.
Well, we had a long stretch in October of not getting any precipitation. Then we ended the last week with picking up quite a bit, and it's continued in the first part of November. And the wet pattern is expected to continue, although we do have some breaks coming up. Really, we got the system one to the past. There's one to the south that's going to be lifted north, providing our next precipitation here for tomorrow. Break, and then this system out to the Pacific Northwest. It's going to take a long time to get here. It's going to dive south, but eventually that will be weekend rain next weekend that we have coming here too. So more on that a little bit later. But overall, if we look at, we still got some drizzle, some light rain overnight. Amounts will be light really through at least midnight or maybe a little bit beyond. So mainly dry conditions. It does pick up in intensity towards the morning commute, so expect rain to move in. Then in the afternoon, dry breaks, probably more showery activity. The winds will pick up, could even see a thunderstorm too with that. And then Wednesday, that's when we have dry but cloudy conditions at least arrive, and it looks like that will continue for a couple days. But overall tonight, it's really just going to be a little bit of showers, light rain, maybe some drizzle, even some partly cloudy skies at times, but really rain amounts will be very light. Temperature still remaining into the 50s for at least till midnight hour. Then as we go past midnight, that system will get closer, so we'll start seeing a few little coverage area to the south start to increase, and eventually it looks like maybe a line or a couple lines of light rain will develop mainly west of the area right now. That'll expand in coverage as we go to about 5 to 6 in the morning, so you could see some areas of light to moderate rain start to pick up, especially around 7 to 8. They'll begin to lift northeastward, but in these bands you can get some moderate rain for a few hours, and then we'll expect that to continue to lift north. Rain-wise, this band kind of starts sitting up and stalling to the north. So where this does stall, that's where it could be really coming down, moderate to occasionally maybe a little bit of heavy rain. South of the area towards South La Crosse, it becomes a little bit more scattered in nature past 10 a.m. And that's really what you'll see more or less to the south of La Crosse going into the afternoon. Meanwhile, to Eau Claire up to Rice Lake, Rochester, this line really stretches back, kind of rotates and stalls. Continue that rainy conditions. And then in the afternoon, that'll begin to rotate eastward. We might see even a few breaks in the cloud cover, but that will result into a little bit more shower, potentially thunderstorm activity going through 4 or 5. Eventually by 6 to 7, it looks like everything does push to the northeast and we begin to dry out. At least won't have any precipitation going on. Cloud cover will remain. Looking at temperatures, still very mild out there. Mid to upper 50s to the south, upper 40s to the north. So once again, well above average for this time of year. Rain amounts, as you'll notice, a lot of the activity pushes north. So up to these areas could be 1 inch to 1.5 inches where that line kind of sits and stalls. Further south, rain amounts really taper off quite rapidly as you get down to Prairie du Chien, maybe 1/10 to 1/4. So this is kind of where we'll focus on the area. Wind speeds will be a thing of concern too going into the evening hours. We'll have the southwest wind here ahead of it, but then we're going to get a north wind on the backside towards the afternoon and evening that could get 15 to 20 with some gust, maybe potentially in 30 or higher. So wind could be a story as you go into the evening hour. Otherwise, Wednesday, dry, back to seasonal conditions finally. So in the extended forecast, those dry conditions continue through Friday before our next chance of rain comes then Saturday and Sunday. The one story you see with this whole forecast, it's still mild conditions. We should be in the 40s by the end of next week, and we're still going to see 50s. So no snow in the forecast, mild temperatures, and finally we get some dry conditions by Wednesday.
All right. A lot to take in, but
yes.
I think I like it.
Yeah, I think you will.
Thank you, Greg. Coming up next in sports, the Badgers begin their 2024-25 campaign on the hardwood tonight. Plus, the Vikings picked up an important primetime win overnight, but Kevin O'Connell says there's still a lot of work to do. Jacob is up next.
Clear Choice Window and Home Solutions, your choice for quality, affordable windows, installed by our experienced team. Contact us or stop into our showroom today for your free estimate.
I'm Rebecca Cook, and like most folks in Wisconsin, I'm somewhere in the middle.
Oh, please. Don't be fooled by Rebecca Cook.
She made her living trying to elect Democrat extremists. Cook proudly supported radicals who want to defund police, end cash bail, and throw open the border. No wonder extremists like AOC are spending big bucks to elect liberals like Cook. Rebecca Cook, just another liberal trying to fool you. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Let's talk about Rebecca Cook. She's a political operative. She's worked for defund the police radicals across this country.
Cook spent millions getting Mandela Barnes elected, the most anti-law enforcement candidate in Wisconsin's history.
You remember Barnes, the guy who said reducing prison populations was sexy?
Defund the police radicals make it harder for us to keep you safe.
That's why we can't support Rebecca Cook, because she'll never support us.
Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message.
Derek Van Orden's in trouble, and the special interests are bailing him out. Just look at who's paying for all these ads. Big banks, insurance companies, drug companies. Because Washington insiders want to restrict health care access and let insurers deny people with pre-existing conditions. Millions would lose coverage. Wisconsin's fed up with Van Orden and Washington insiders. We want leaders who will fight for us.
I'm Rebecca Cook, and I approve this message.
Manufacturers selling baby food with high levels of toxic heavy metals.
Foods and cereals marketed to children contain a weed-killing chemical that some health authorities link to cancer.
Exposed to chemicals and additives that have been banned in other countries.
Half the tap water contains forever chemicals.
Enough is enough. President Trump and I are going to stop the mass poisoning of American children. We're going to make America healthy again.
Maha Alliance is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Are record high energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today.
Covering all of the exciting action from your community, here's News 8 Now Sports.
Well, after a wet and flat-out sloppy performance yesterday against the top team in the NFC North, the Packers now head into their bye week with a record of 6-3. And with all things considered, it's not that bad after thinking about some of the ups and downs this team has endured so far. Last year, Green Bay entered the bye week with a record of 2-3 before losing 2 more games after and then winning 7 of their next 10. Matt LaFleur says there's no change in the sense of urgency with this year compared to last. The goal is still going 1-0 each week.
You just always keep the focus on the task at hand, and you can't worry about the results. I think that was beneficial to us a year ago when we were sitting at 3-6. So we better take the same mindset because things can flip in a hurry in this league.
It'll be a battle of the 2 teams at the bottom of the NFC North in Week 11 as the Packers take on the Bears from Chicago. Meanwhile, the Vikings jumped Green Bay in the division standings with their win over the Colts last night. Minnesota snapping their 2-game losing skid with a victory. Kevin O'Connell isn't satisfied with the 6-2 mark through 8 games. He knows there's a lot more football to be played, and once you get complacent, that's when things can go downhill.
I feel like we have a good identity of who our football team is, but at the same time, I do feel like we have a long runway to improve and continue to get better and better every week. That's been a goal of mine since we really reported training camp, is just to be constantly chasing the progression throughout the season and having that be, what our process is all about.
And after a first-round exit in the NCAA tournament last season, the Badgers men's basketball team begins their 2024-25 campaign tonight at home against Holy Cross. The Crusaders haven't had a winning season in 10 years, and Wisconsin is a big favorite in the season opener. While there are some important players back like John Blackwell, Stephen Crowell, and Max Klesmit, A.J. Storr and Chucky Hepburn have transferred, and Tyler Wall has graduated. Tip-off set for 7 o'clock from Madison. And the 1-5 Bucks are taking on the 7-0 Cavaliers. First quarter in Cleveland leads this one. Bucks fell to the Cavs Saturday on a Donovan Mitchell last-second jumper. So it's not good for the Bucks to start. I'm not too panicked about the Packers, though. No. I think all things are pretty good.
6-3 is a solid mark. It's just how good the NFC North is. The margins are so tight for a wild card spot. The Lions look like the clear best team in the division.
So that was sloppy yesterday, but hopefully they can they use that bye weekend and get some things figured out and take care of Chicago. So
it's pretty good that Chicago's the team after the bye.
Yeah, you would think, right?
I'm feeling pretty good.
I
Sorry,
did not
Bears
watch
fans.
one football game this weekend. Checked out.
Well, we'll get you back in.
Yeah,
we'll get you back locked in.
Okay.
Thanks,
All right, we'll have another look at your forecast right after this.
The Harris-Baldwin border policy puts Wisconsin families at risk. 2 children stabbed to death, an illegal alien charged with their murder, a mother sexually assaulted, her daughter abused, a Venezuelan gang member here illegally charged.
I think we're probably spending too much, throwing too much money on our southern border.
Tammy Baldwin's wrong on the border, and Wisconsin families are paying the price. Restoration PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I've been with U.S. Cellular for 27 years. They've always taken care of me. But when they asked me to talk to you about their special customer event, Us Days, I said, I gotta get in shape. So they sent me this Hollywood trainer. Oh, this guy's no joke. Us Days means exclusive deals just for us customers.
Now let's try burpees.
Us Days is back at U.S. Cellular. Current customers get $1,200 off any phone, plus $400 off any tablet.
I'm Jody Emerson, and there's a lot at stake in this election. Extreme Republicans are trying to completely ban abortion in Wisconsin, and Michelle Magadan Skinner will help them do it. She wants to join extremist Republicans trying to ban abortion with no exceptions for rape or incest. I'm fighting to protect abortion rights, protect IVF treatments, and protect access to birth control, because they're coming for those next. I'm Jody Emerson, and I'll keep fighting, but I need you to vote.
I, Kamala J.B. Harris, do solemnly swear.
Kamala swore an oath, but Kamala created crisis after crisis. Our troops murdered, an open border, crime in our streets, skyrocketing costs, assassination attempts, Americans abandoned during disasters, and we're on the brink of World War III. A broken oath and a broken America. Kamala can't be trusted in the Oval Office. Vote for President Trump and save America. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
All right, rain chances really the rain ramps up in the morning and then tails off in the afternoon, but still there'll be a lot of areas in the afternoon through the evening that will continue to see rain, but not all locations. Good news, you want dry weather. We got that coming back Wednesday through Friday.
All right. But until then, get those umbrellas ready for the polls tomorrow.
That's right. Thanks for joining us at 6.
We'll see you at 10.